Welcome back. Of course, you're listening to Onomatopoeia. This is our second season. This is
Volume
episode
2.
4.
For your libraries out there.
We've got some content to talk about book-wise with Marvel and DC. Nothing indie on my part. Anything from you this week?
I didn't really see anything too interesting. Ice Cream Man is back.
That's what I was wondering.
I did read Ice Cream Man. There's a little bit of stuff that kind of happened with that. It's more like origin type stuff for what's his name? Caleb, the cowboy guy, and the Ice Cream Man. They're apparently some kind of extraterrestrial gods.
Of course.
So, you know,
this is gonna be like the perfect when they have like the Ultimate Collection and it's like, you know, every issue together. This is gonna be the book where you look back and you're like, look at all these details.
It's definitely an image book. You can feel that because they do that a lot. But it was all right. I'm glad to have it back because when I first saw it, and I was like, oh god, this is horrible. Like in the very first issue, they had a thing.
The first issue was like a shocks one.
Yeah,
like,
where they talk about like there's a spider bite, and like, you know, one of the bad things is like death by priapism. So basically, like you get hard, and then the blood from your brain isn't there, so you pass away, but you die happy. So like it's just
True
stuff like
horror.
that. I know, it was like, oh, but it was actually cool. It's a neat concept. Because we worship Colin on the podcast. It was something kind of reminiscent of him, actually. That looked like something he would kind of do.
It's funny. The story doesn't have the linear nature. Doesn't operate strongly. I stopped at like issue 4 and then got the first trade.
Yeah.
But I haven't read any of the second volume stuff. So issue 6 through we're at 9 now, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
Indie wise, also, I was going to ask you this. Starting last week, did you? Now you like Black Hammer? You're a fan of that?
Oh, I love Black Hammer.
Okay,
it's so cool.
Black Hammer blew me away when it first came out.
It got optioned. I read that. It got optioned by Legendary,
which is,
that's great.
It would be amazing. And
it's going to be a few years, but.
But so I love all the sub material, but there's one book that hasn't grabbed me, and it's Quantum Age. Are you reading it? Issue 6 came out this week.
I haven't read Quantum Age. I've been meaning to.
It's not my favorite.
When I saw it, the first one I saw was like a little prism that looked like Moses from South Park. Like he was on something, and that made me think like, maybe that's worth a read. But I haven't been able to pick it up yet. I haven't seen it.
It focuses on Black Hammer's daughter,
Lucy,
and I don't know.
Now the new Black Hammer.
Exactly.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I loved that Sherlock Frankenstein.
Oh no, that was great.
Mini. That was an awesome.
Just Black Hammer in general. Is great.
Did you read Cthulhu Louis?
I got to read Cthulhu Louis. Yeah, I did.
That's the best book of like 2018 for me.
It was entertaining. I personally like Cthulhu better myself. He's just a plumber,
like, just
in
chain
New York.
Smoking and
Hey, Cthulhu Louis, get down here. I need you to hold this wrench while I put some torque on it.
If you're not reading Black Hammer, Jeff Lemire is honestly a madman. He has taken some great what I like Justice Society, like Golden Age stuff.
It's like a parody of it, kind of.
Yeah, like a parody and an homage together.
Yeah, because they have like nods to Captain America, like Jack Kirby work of the New Gods.
One of my favorite things is they do they did that Starman thing based, and they made they call him Dr. Light.
Yeah.
And they actually
I thought his name was like Dr. Star or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Dr. Star.
It was something like that.
But he's based on Starman, and they actually took the likeness of James Robinson, the Starman writer, as the face of him.
Oh, that's
which
neat.
is really cool.
I like that a lot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just it's a fun series, and he's built a world around it completely through Dark Horse.
It's pretty meta too. For those of you who don't know kind of what it is, these what are there, 5 or 6 heroes?
Yeah, basically a league.
Yeah, like kind
title?
of a Justice League or whatever it is. They fight a dark side like person called Anti-God, and they end up fighting with him, and they think that they kill him and everything, but they just end up in this small town in nowhere, and they've been living there for almost about 20 years now, I'd say.
Yeah,
close
trapped.
to that. They're trapped there. They cannot leave. Black Hammer, the original Black Hammer, tried to do it. Dude got like zapped. Like he pretty much had his skin turned inside out. So it's them kind of living this
sedentary life.
Sedentary, disheveled life, and they're just getting kind of stir crazy. But recently they've started to give some more answers
And it gets a little more messed up than you.
Yeah, it's there's like they have a Phantom Zone parallel called what was it called, the Negative Zone or
I don't that seems
I
too
can't
on the
remember.
nose, but that's the whole this Age
Parazone
of Doom
is what it's called. It's called a Parazone. And they have like an Adam Strange type character and stuff who's kind of working with a Silver Age witch type character.
Madam Dragonfly.
Yeah, Madam Dragonfly, to like cultivate this whole facade of a place, and they've been keeping them there because apparently if they return, then this anti-god returns, like with a base of you have to have a balance of good and evil,
yeah.
which is cool. I think that's neat. That's something I wish that they would kind of do with Star Wars a little bit. But yeah, it's a good read. Pick it up when you can. Wait for it. Request it.
And also, this is one thing I will just applaud Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire is a genius, and he does a lot of work, but not one issue of any of the Black Hammer titles since its release have been unreleased, if that makes sense. Like, everything has always been on date.
Yeah, which with independent ones, that's pretty amazing. He should get an Eisner for that.
Like, he's doing like 4 different series, so applauds. But we've got some DC and Marvel we want to talk about. But the first thing, we're here on a Thursday, and we have the DC Extended Universe material we'd like to talk about.
Yeah, we got some news that have come to pass yesterday, and what was that on they recently released kind of a little teaser.
Birds of Prey on Tuesday.
Yeah, a photo set for Birds of Prey that came out Tuesday. And it's nothing too exciting. It's just maybe like, what, a 15-second video?
Yeah, just a few flashes of character.
Most of the characters are there. They showed Ewan McGregor's Black Mask. They showed
Huntress, Orphan, Black Canary.
Yeah.
And of course, Harley.
Yeah.
I think I will be 100% honest. And then you've heard they've been pushing for the R rating.
Yeah, which that kind of surprises me a little bit.
No, because did you like when you saw, if you're a Cassandra Cain fan, Orphan,
yeah,
she was Batgirl at one time. She's like a brutal killer. Like, she's a tough bitch.
Her dad her dad was David Cain of the League of Assassins, and her mom is Lady Shiva, like probably the second best martial artist in the DC universe.
When you see her in the trailer or the clip, it's like a young woman with like a cast on her arm, and when I saw that, I immediately had a Deadpool vibe. Like, this whole thing kind of, and I'm not saying they're ripping it. I'm just saying that they're gonna be like, you know what? Let's take the risk and do an R-rated movie. People loved Harley. Let's take this badass chick team to be the first R rating.
And that's kind of the thing that I'm a little worried about with DCEU. That they are so susceptible to influence from other companies, whereas the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has just kind of had its own thing. It's been doing its own thing for more than 10 years now.
Constantly doing its own thing. Fox
is kind of innovating it, doing that R-rated Deadpool stuff that was successful, but it seems like they're emulating rather than innovating. If DC could find its own niche, I'm pretty sure it would be great. But
it's funny.
It's just without I don't know how to say it, but without kind of personality.
I was gonna ask you this. Aquaman is, as some people would say, a step in the right direction, but in what you just mentioned, it's a step in the Marvel direction. Would you agree?
Sort of. I do not agree with playing a Pitbull song in the middle of the movie.
Okay, yes.
And just because James Wan thinks it's funny doesn't mean I do. But I mean, it was funny, but for the wrong reasons. Like, it's something that took away from the movie for me. And that's very Guardians, and it doesn't work in this situation. I
didn't dislike Aquaman. It's a big goofy movie, and I like that. And it was fun. And Shazam looks like it's a blast, but neither of these movies are showing, like Nick just said, an individual thought pattern.
They're all just copying what something else has done ahead of it. I'm praying Shazam is going to be a little bit different, because it's just a different character than we've had.
Did you see the release of that little clip where it's Shazam in a real estate office buying a headquarters?
Oh God, no.
After I saw that, I was a little disheartened. He's like, if we could have it like by like a beach, like on the water, something like that, with like rocks and water splashing, like, and I was like, Oh, and it's like him in full costume talking to a real estate agent.
Well, yeah, because if he's Billy Batson, he's not going to get anywhere. But since he's an adult,
Well, he still has
that's
his
Shazam.
foster brother with him.
Oh yeah, Freddy's with him. Yeah,
and it just
I saw that, but I thought they were like auditioning for the Justice League or something. They were talking about I want to be in the Justice League.
Oh, I haven't seen that clip yet. Then okay,
maybe it's like a TV spot or something. But
but the Birds of Prey, I think, and also Ian McGregor. I am not a fan of the prequels. I know people really do like Star Wars prequels out there.
You, Austin Sanders, are not a fan of a Star Wars franchise?
I know. I'm such
really?
a bad person.
Are you kidding me? I don't mind the prequels. The third one is definitely the best of them. First one, I think, gets more shit than it really deserves because it was different. Attack of the Clones definitely needs to fucking die. But
I've gone back and tried to. Well, I'll be honest. I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith since theaters. I've rewatched Attack of the Clones and Episode 1, but it's just.
I watched it for the memes.
Okay,
yeah.
It doesn't resonate for me, but I will say Ian McGregor still does a strong performance in those movies.
He's the best part of those movies.
And I am a Liam Neeson fan, and when you watch that first one, you're like, "Whoa, you just threw that in, didn't you? You phoned every line of dialogue in, like."
Yeah.
But Ian does a good job, and when I see him as Black Mask is a great conniving villain. Like, I absolutely love that character. Anxious to see what he brings to it.
Oh yeah, no, and Ewan McGregor, he's a versatile dude. You know, he's in a bunch of different movies. He can play pretty much any character. So I think that'll be good to have somebody that's that kind of caliber be a villain, because you know you got Margot Robbie being Harley Quinn. Some people like her. And, you know,
this is one thing
I haven't seen enough to know.
I'm gonna hold on.
You're gonna hit the pause button?
No. Should I? This is a perfect tie-in. Do we have more to say about this DC Extended Universe stuff other than?
I figured we'd talk about that once we get this Birds of Prey stuff, because there's a lot of news that's coming out. Not very good.
Let's start. Okay, we'll come back to Harley. Let's continue with DCEU.
Okay, let's talk about DCEU.
Okay, so the news today was that Matt Reeves' Batman film will be coming
yesterday.
out.
It came in on the wire yesterday, but yeah, pretty much everywhere today.
2021.
June 25th, 2021.
And no Ben.
They're not certain, but you know they're saying Ben Affleck's probably not going to be Batman again. We've heard this before, but. Yeah, which if he's not Batman, I would be so sad, because I've been singing his praises since they casted him. Well, the thing is, like, don't you feel like what was it? 2015 is when they cast him, I think.
It's been a long time.
I know, and everybody was giving me crap about it. I'm like, no, this would be the best Dark Knight Returns Batman ever, because Ben's like 6'4", 200 pounds. He looks like Bruce Wayne.
I think you and I are the ones that talk about that. What's your favorite part of Dawn of Justice?
Batman. What's the best part of any movie? Batman.
But I think what would suck.
This episode's brought to you by Batman.
Yes, Batfleck. What would really be a bummer for a modern audience, you know, there's some people that look at age-wise, look at Bale as Keaton now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's say we compare the motion.
Dumb people maybe, but yeah.
No, younger people.
Yeah.
Let's not say all dumb people, but you know what I mean. But
you know what I mean.
Just they look at, like,
because we don't insult our four listeners.
We knew Keaton, but then when we were growing up, we saw Kilmer and we saw Clooney, and then so by the time that Bale came out, we were like, oh, shit.
Starved for something good.
Yeah. So these kids think Bale might be perhaps born. Like, if some kid watches Batman Begins, they probably don't get the much out of it as like they get Justice League now. Yeah. Does that make sense at all?
Exactly. And I will say, so far Bale is probably the best actor we've had in a Batman role. Say what you will about him, but I mean, you know, he's a fairly good actor. You know, you believe that he is this way, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what an actor does. But yeah, no, to me, Ben Affleck it just encompasses everything.
I feel like I'm gonna maybe, I'm not throwing a shade at Bale.
Throw it.
But I actually think Dawn of Justice, like, you can say what you want about the movie, but Affleck in that movie was completely dedicated.
I know.
When you see Justice League, you can see he's phoning it in. His lines and his everything is rough, but there's that part where he's doing that CrossFit scene, and you can tell that he honestly thinks he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
like
he's going to fight Superman.
It's And
now
you
that
can say
he's a
what you
good
want to
actor,
about that
people say
movie.
he's a good actor since Gone Girl.
Yeah, but
you know,
he can.
it's great what one movie will do for you. You know,
But no,
going from Geely to Gone Girl.
I will say I really did like him in Dawn of Justice, but it would be a
I hope
waste.
he continues.
Think about how shitty would it be if you just throw because that would be basically be going down the same path. Like, you played Batman twice, get out of here, Keaton. We're gonna put in someone else. Same thing with Affleck. You would play Batman twice, get out of here. We're gonna throw someone else. Why?
Hugh Jackman was Wolverine for 20 freaking years.
He's technically still Wolverine.
I was
like,
just
there's
saying,
not a you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know, and I'm still fine with that. I think he's great. But yeah, no, I hope they continue with Batfleck. But to you, Austin, to our listeners, who do you guys think would be a good Batman if they had to replace him? Who would be somebody that was good? I remember.
Out of curiosity, did you have a choice? Because I don't.
I kind of did. They've had talk of like Jake Gyllenhaal being a younger Bruce Wayne. Do you remember? Do you remember the talk of that like a few years? Like
yeah,
maybe a year
I think
or two?
the Mysterio thing will throw that off. But I do remember that. Wasn't there someone else too, like a kind of boyish figure?
It was him. They talked about Josh Brolin, of course. You know.
That'd be fun.
Brolin was cool whenever we were kind of speculating who it would be. If they did a Dark Knight, Brolin would be great. Personally, the person I think would be good is Lee Pace. I think he would be pretty good.
I think he is underutilized. I watched Guardians last night, and I forgot about. I love the darkness that he brings to Ronan, like that real just
exactly.
Like,
I
you know what? I'm backing you on that. That is a good.
I think Lee Pace would be good.
What about him in a Batman Beyond setting where he's
Terry McGinnis?
No. He's Bruce in the cave.
I haven't thought about that. Are we talking about Lee Pace or Ben Affleck?
No, Lee Pace.
Okay.
I think I would like to see him play an older
with some makeup,
sage
maybe
character.
Yeah, that'd be good because he did well in The Hobbit, and I like him, but he got kind of ruined for being Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of the movie. What are you doing? Like, just that. It was like,
I think
kind of actually ruined it for me.
I really like that because it just takes it out. Okay, but the news with that is, speaking of Guardians, James Gunn is directing a complete reboot of The Suicide Squad.
That's right.
And I just want to listen. James, I've got a list for you here. We need Bronze Tiger in the movie. We need to recast Captain Boomerang. I've got a whole list for you if you want to hit me up.
Okay. Well, they don't need to recast. They don't need to recast Captain Boomerang. They just need to give him more like screen time and lines.
Yeah, actually, Jai Courtney did a good job in that movie.
Jai Courtney did fucking mushrooms to get into character, and he had like 4 lines in the movie, if that. They need to give Killer Croc more lines. Like they like just.
B-E-T.
That's right. He needs to just spit one-liners. Like. That was one of my favorite things about if you haven't checked it out yet, go look at our Suicide Squad rant. But I liked it whenever like he just said almost nothing through the whole movie. He was just there, and then like 20 minutes later he just starts spitting one-liners like he's been doing it all freaking movie. And it was great. It made me laugh so hard, and that's what happens when you have a company that makes trailers edit your movie in 4 days.
Well, another thing, like what do they always say? I mean, Suicide Squad is got tranked, as in like that's the same thing that they did at Fantastic Four. They took Josh
Stick, yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, I know we'll not see these movies, but it's funny. When I look at, like, there's parts of my brain that I remember positively of Suicide Squad, and then I try to watch it, and I forget how. Like, there's that scene where Common is a gangster.
Yeah, and
it actually works well, but then it gets like really like they could have built that more as a horse, and like Joker making it uncomfortable. Like, man, you know what the scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, when he's in the club and like Common's talking about Harley Quinn, he's like, "You're like my bitch," like that, and it's like, what?
Just the way it was presented.
But that's the Joker they were going for. That's different. I don't want to talk about that because that's going to make me sad.
And speaking of Joker, it comes out in October.
That's right. We've got a set day for October. Back to Suicide Squad too.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Sorry, The Suicide Squad. If you put the in front of it,
James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it makes it a sequel, or it separates it, like The Man of Steel, The Batman, The Suicide Squad, The Aquaman, The Wonder Woman 1984.
I cannot see The Aquaman.
I know. The Shazam. The Driving Miss Daisy. But no, the thing is, James Gunn, he is a great director. He did fantastic on Guardians of the Galaxy. He writes the Guardians material.
Super was one of my favorite movies. You remember that one?
Oh, is that the one with what's his name? Dwight.
The guy Dwight from The Office.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He just likes Luthor now. In the DCEU stuff.
I love that stuff. So
they just had Reign of the Superman come out too. I was going to talk about that last week.
I got on my DCU app.
Nice.
I got it pulled up. I'm very excited to watch.
What is that? This episode's brought to you by who?
The DC app. You should definitely check out the DC app. I spend $10 a month, and it's definitely worth it.
Catch up on the first season of Teen Titans. Watch Young Justice Outsiders.
Are you ever bored and you just think, man, I want to watch the 1980s Supergirl movie? I have nothing to do for 2 hours.
Well, it's there. You want to see Superman 4: The Quest for Peace? Me neither, but it's there.
I've watched it twice since I bought the app.
Exactly.
Gotta use it for something.
Type in DC. What's the website? The DC Comics or was it DetectiveComics.com? Sign up to DC.com/onomatopoeia for a 30-day free trial for it.
Gets an immediate virus.
Please sponsor us, Dan. Get a virus on us. But anyway, back to
the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. He is great. James Gunn is awesome, but it is not just James Gunn that made Guardians great. It's Chris Pratt, it's Batista, it's everybody there, and this group with David Ayer did not mix. So just because you put James Gunn in it does not mean it's going to be great. You need to have cast with chemistry.
James wrote the script.
Mm-hmm.
Feige gave him room to wiggle. Is Warner Brothers going to allow James to write this script?
Yes, they absolutely will, because they saw Guardians of the Galaxy. They want to just copy it. Yeah, they'll let Gunn do it, because he was racist 10 years ago. He's not racist anymore. But yeah, no, they'll let him do it because they have this mentality that he's the one that made it great.
How humorous would it be if he's doing the Suicide Squad, and then Marvel decides, you know what, we do want you back for Guardians 3.
He would go back to Guardians fast.
What if he does both?
Then he'd be making a lot of money.
Because think about in the comics world, there's guys that work for both.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cullen. He does freelance work for both.
Suicide Squad annual a little bit ago.
Yeah, and I was gonna say he did Trinity while he was doing X-Men Blue. So if you could score that, that's got to be some sort of buck. Exactly. Yeah. Lemire, he switches teams every 4 years.
Now that he's got Black Hammer, he's like, I don't really want to work for Marvel or DC. Did you read Lemire's Sentry?
But he's writing Hawkman. Oh wait, no, he's not writing Hawkman. My mistake.
Robert Venditti,
the other Jeff Lemire.
Okay, so
we keep getting distracted.
Well, there's a lot to talk about.
I know.
I thought
there's
there was
so
nothing
much
to talk about this week, and now there is. Okay, so any other Suicide Squad notes you have? What do you think?
They allegedly are wanting Margot Robbie and Will Smith to retain their roles. Makes sense.
Do you think so? You think Smith will come back?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm not a Will Smith fan, but
me neither.
He did not play Deadshot like I know Floyd Lawton, but I will say this.
What, white?
No, like a total
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. But he,
got you.
I will say I was actually impressed with his performance.
Will Smith?
I didn't think it was going to be that good.
Okay.
It's because I don't like him, so.
Okay. I talked about this too. He's Will Smith. He's cool. He doesn't need to be acting just all thugged out and just, angry and everything.
Well, if I was to play Floyd, I'd be very quiet.
Exactly. Yeah. Because he's Will Smith. He's cool. That's his thing. That is his thing. That's his whole go-to shtick.
It's it'd be crazy if he just would have played Bronze Tiger instead, a character that would have had a more.
You just want Bronze Tiger. Yeah, you're trying to push that. You're trying to push that movie on me. He wrote a Bronze Tiger script.
But listen, Bronze Tiger is the best Suicide Squad member.
Bronze Tiger is pretty cool though. He's somebody that's very underutilized. And I have a rebuttal for you for Bronze Tiger later. But yeah, anyway, the Suicide Squad's coming out.
But they did. I didn't read the full PR. But they do want Margot and Will back.
I'm sure because Will Smith is made of money at the box office.
Is
People
Leto
will go to
still
see.
an item, you think?
Oh God, I don't think so.
Okay, so that's not been mentioned.
I imagine not, since there was such backlash from him. They probably want to distance it, and I'm sure Jared Leto's not happy with them about being in all their marketing stuff, but just barely in the movie.
Oh, imagine since his personality.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to get to Harley, but the thing that Nick and I were talking before, one of my favorite podcasts, Fat Man on Batman, Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, talk about kind of similar stuff to us. They do a little more media, but
they're actually sponsored though.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But this week, Kevin came back from his hanging out in the United Kingdom.
I think he was there on the set of like Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah, he's friends with JJ.
Yeah.
So he was there, and he can't talk about that. But he says on lunch break, he sits with all the people that are working on the movie, like production assistants, gaffers, things like that. Just
Crew
basically
members,
hanging out. And a bunch of the people there are part of the same. I think it's called Pied Park. I might be wrong with that.
I believe so.
It's a company that helps do films over there. And they were all part of what was originally going to be the Justice League Part 1, Part 2.
The original, both those parts with Snyder and Joss Whedon.
They were there for Snyder eventually. What I think they called it the
Whedoning.
Yeah, they had a name for it.
I'd like it to be weed eating for some reason.
Eating.
I don't know why. All right.
But they had all the concepts that Jim Lee had drawn out for a 3-part movie. So I was going to talk to Nick about this. Okay, so imagine...
And that surprised me because I thought it was Snyder's thing, but he's telling me it's Jim Lee, and when he says Jim Lee, I pop a boner immediately. So.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
But no, it's Snyder's... It's his vision with Jim Lee, because do you remember when it came to the Justice League is when Jeff Johns got involved, and because remember, Dawn of Justice was very much Snyder's vision.
Yeah.
So, but this is Snyder teaming up with Johns and, Jim Lee. So the idea for Justice League was to be an introduction to Steppenwolf, and then at
the Apocalypse and
basically
gods.
you see Apocalypse.
Yeah, what they had said was that when Steppenwolf is going up in the boom tube, they look in the boom tube, they see Darkseid, Darkseid sees them. You know, kind of like a window of sorts, where it's like, I'm trying to think of what movie that's from, but I can't. But yeah.
And then the second one was supposed to be the Empire Strikes Back of them and do the basic Justice League Odyssey. Justice League Odyssey, the cosmic adventure into space.
Where they go to Apocalypse and try to defeat him before he comes to Earth or whatever, does his little machinations. Guess what? They don't.
And then Darkseid makes it to Earth in the third. And he destroys it and becomes the Nightmare Vision from Batman versus Superman. Yeah. So we get some sort of tie back to that. And then also, did you read the thing? They were talking about those cut scenes. One of the guys was talking about there's that clip in Justice League where he's like, "Oh, we're hoping you'd come," and it's Jeremy Irons.
It was supposed to be Green Lantern.
Yeah, they said that they had shot it the way they shot it. They had green lights flashing on Jeremy Irons that were edited out for the trailer. But it's supposed to be the Green Lantern Corps, like, coming to help.
Which is funny, because how does Batman know who the fuck they are? But, yeah.
But, man, that would just... The thing is, it sounds neat now, but...
Wait, what am I saying? It's Batman. That's how I know.
If you think about it, it would have just... I understand why Warner Brothers panicked. But if they would have... If everyone would have been on the same page at Man of Steel yes, that might have worked. But the fact that... I understand why they've done what they've done.
I get it, but at the same time, I call a little bullshit, like a little bit.
Well, like none of that was shot.
Do you remember maybe 2 weeks ago, Zack Snyder released a picture to like promote, I guess, suicide awareness prevention, and it was basically just like this weird code of stuff from the Justice League, which basically was supposed to be a code for what happened in Justice League 2.
I didn't see this.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like this shirt that he had promoted, like on Verve, because he refuses to use regular social media. He only does Verve, it seems like. But anyway, yeah, it has like a bunch of different things on it, where it has like a picture of like the London Bridge. It has all this other stuff, but the main thing that people were looking at was it has like a code there where it has the planet Apocalypse in the middle. It goes down to like a sword. Then through the sword there is a coffin, and then through after the coffin there's like a sperm swimming. I know it's not semen, it's sperm. And then they show a picture of a baby, which some people have deciphered this as they go to Apocalypse, Batman sacrifices himself, Lois Lane has a baby, and they name it Bruce, after him because Batman saved his life for Superman or whatever, kind of, tit for tat. So that's what some people have deciphered his.
I'll have to look it up. I haven't seen anything of that.
Yeah, this was a few weeks ago. This was way back, But yeah, so that kind of brings a new thinking to, like, when Lois is the key, you were right about him, you're always right about him, which I hate that anyway. That drives me crazy, because where can you use that? Like, what would that put forward? But anyway,
in the suit he was wearing.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot to be said.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's our DC stuff, our nonsense. But I want to talk about Harley Quinn, because my tie into Harley Quinn is Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah,
Harley has.
We got a little bit of answers this week.
We're finding also. I would say I was not in the animated series. I was not a fan of Harley Quinn. Like, it was a fun little off character, and then the obsession.
Something fun to pair with the Joker, who's just like, the opposite of fun. That little bit of relief from that craziness.
She was like not a straight woman, but
like a ne'er-do-well.
Yeah,
that was there.
It was, but with Rob Williams' Suicide Squad Rebirth, really got me. He started adding more little kinks to the model of who Harley was, and you're like, wow, this is actually an interesting character, and how she can be why she's so good at her stuff. And now with Heroes in Crisis, man, we're getting some like abuse from the Joker, like the way she's explained it, how she can actually use her brain pretty well in certain elements.
She's apparently a fighter on the same level as Batman. I don't believe that. Something that with Harley that I thought was really cool that I wish they would incorporate at some point in Injustice in the universe. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? They made Harley a mom. The Joker got her pregnant, and she has a child who she had to hide from the Joker.
I knew that Black Canary got pregnant. I didn't know Harley did. When was that? Like, was that I got to volume 4, which was the magic part. Was it after that?
I think it was in volume 2 or 3. Like, it was pretty early. But yeah, she apparently had a kid with the Joker. Her name is Lucy. She's like normal and everything, and they've kind of hidden her away. It's one of those situations where like Harley is like her Aunt Harley, as opposed to mom and stuff. But in Injustice 2, they kind of reveal all that stuff and everything. But
once all those books are done, I would love to read that from the beginning again, because those books have been phenomenal.
Yeah, Injustice 2, the run ended several months ago, so yeah, that should be in trade by now.
Well,
the full thing.
We're in Injustice versus Master still, right?
No, I think that ended too, if I'm not mistaken. But it was cool because He-Man got the power of Shazam, so that would
be pretty crazy.
So did Skeletor too for a little bit. And what was it? Darkseid at one point had the Sword of Eternia, which was really cool.
See, I read the first issue and I was like, I gotta wait for this full book.
It was pretty neat.
But yeah, but Harley's really she's becoming more like, they're spending time on her. People are definitely also, this is issue 5 of Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in a comic book is Blue Beetle and Booster Gold sitting together, and they're like,
it's like, what? Beer and pizza.
But no, they do this line where they're like, what if we just go to Wally's or Barry's lab? And he's like, that's what we just did, and then you got in jail and I busted you out. He's like, no, what if the best plan in the world is to do the exact same plan? And he's like, I think that's a perfect idea. Like, the fact that they didn't change the plan at all. They just
that's just those two being those two.
And then my favorite part is like, Barry's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
I know, yeah, he actually like says it. He's like, it's like, what the fuck? And then he punches him again. He's like, that worked, like, because it worked. Don't move. And then he like zapped him. See, I'm surprised you don't like Booster Gold, because that's like all this stuff. I want Tom King to write a Booster Gold book.
Tom King has changed Booster Gold for me, because I didn't like him, but like when he did that Batman run with Booster, you remember where like,
yeah.
And then now
hey, I got your birthday present. Sorry. Like, yeah, it's
been hilarious. And then so what do you think about that whole thing that they're like, it might be a Wally West from like just a couple seconds off?
Yeah,
or
maybe
Wally
West. Spoilers. Maybe Wally West isn't so dead.
What were they hinting at? They're like, this is the Wally West that is deceased is the Wally West from the future, and that the Wally West that we know is still alive?
Well, if you remember from the events of Flash War, Wally West is not happy with the Flash family right now because he's seeing it as like they're stopping him from having his family back. Because remember, he had his wife and then he had 2 kids. So anyway, I can see them as not like being very happy with that, and I can imagine he's looking for a way to like get his family back or something. So it's either that or maybe he's like working with Hunter Zolomon again because they've reintroduced him in Flash these last few run.
Is Joshua Williamson still writing that?
Yes,
book?
he is. Yeah. Which going back into the Flash, they actually had a couple things that tied into Heroes in Crisis.
So you have to dive into that for me.
The first Flash one was wrapping up like the Speed, the Force Quest stuff, like the Speed, the Sage.
Oh, you'd mentioned
the
that
Strength Force and stuff. But anyway, so he saved the day, blah blah blah. And he's doing all this stuff, and then he hears like some kind of report or something about Sanctuary, and he's like, "Oh shit, Wally!" And then he runs, and of course he finds Wally's body, which runs directly into the Flash Annual 2.
Wow, so all this, I'm gonna have to go read this.
So he's dealing with the fallout of like
Wally's death.
Yeah, and so of course he has to tell Wallace, the new 52 Wally, and he just berates him like, "Have you told Iris yet?" No, I haven't. Dude, you did it again. Like, I had to find out who you are, and you didn't even freaking tell Iris. You are a shitty Flash. You are a shitty person. So he's like, "Yeah, I know." So then he goes and he tells Iris, and Iris freaks the fuck out. Like, she's just like, "I want you to find who did this, and I want you to kill them." He's like, "You don't mean that." "Yes, I do." And so...
Holy crap.
Yeah, no, so it's pretty serious. But the cool thing with this is that in the annual, Godspeed is back.
I love that character.
Godspeed's been hiding in the Speed Force. He's working with whoever is the person that they got from the 25th century, the Crisis person. You remember a couple arcs ago how like the 25th century people.
I stopped at the 3rd arc.
Anyway, it's the one we were like debating on. Was it like Savitar or was it like?
Oh yeah,
like
that was
Superboy
a while. Yeah.
Prime, yeah, like that. Anyway, he's working with Godspeed, and it was really cool too. Because when Godspeed is getting ready to kill the Flash and stuff, who do we see come running? Bart Allen, Impulse. He's there. He's like, "Hey, who are you?" And he just starts beating him up. And Godspeed's like, "Oh shit, who is this? I don't know who this is." And then like that disembodied voice, whoever the evil. Yeah. He's like, "You're not ready to fight that, Speedster. Come on back to the Speed Force, buddy. I'll give you a hug." And so Barry of this continuity gets to meet Bart now.
For the first time.
Yeah, which is interesting. He's like,
"Okay.
Hey, Grandpa."
All right, that's enough info. I gotta read this book.
Yeah.
Wait, so that happened in Flash Annual this
week.
They
were kind of tie-ins to Heroes in Crisis. Yeah, there's a lot of Flash business going on.
I'm just gonna have to catch up on all my Flash because this already sounds pretty good.
I wasn't a big fan of Force Quest very much, but this next one, the price looks promising because of Batman, but it looks pretty cool. So
it sounds really badass.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely.
What? Was there anything else in Heroes?
There's a few other, something that they're talking about in Heroes in Crisis, was that there's a bunch of stuff on the web now. Guardian, the guy who looks like Captain America, he's reminiscing about when he died post Infinite Crisis, and then when he died during Steel? Commander Steel. My mistake. Not Guardian.
Yeah. I had to do my research on that.
Anyway, yeah, and so he's correct in that he died in like an event right after Infinite Crisis. And then when he was a Black Lantern and came back and all this stuff, he remembers him dying and coming back, and people are like, "Oh no, he remembers all the stuff post New 52 before Flashpoint and everything." And so I'm thinking like, have you not been reading comic books? Everybody seems to do that. Like ever since Metal, when Batman was like talking about like Final Crisis stuff, it's like, that's the whole point of Rebirth. They're like remembering stuff that they did before, like and so it just kind of irks me that they do that. But who do you think is the killer? Do you think it is a version of Wally West? Do you think it's like a fake out? When I saw the solicitation for the price, I was kind of hoping it was Gotham Girl.
That's because that would
be cool.
Well, that would have tied. I mean, it would tie into King's story.
Yeah, and it would be just a surprise.
Let's hope that it's that. I don't think they're giving us any information right now.
It's a speedster of some kind, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, that would tie us back into like Final Crisis type vibe of like the speedster,
and it
is
will.
the
It will.
Ghost in the
I'm
Machine.
sure since they are talking about like remembering stuff post Infinite Crisis.
One thing I wanted to point out too, we always talk about where it's going story wise, but the last like 7 pages of the book, it's like when Soups is given that monologue.
I love the artwork on that. That was so cool.
Clayman, not the character, but the artist Clayman. It did some of the coolest things. There's like a shot of Adam Strange and like Swamp Thing and Zatanna,
like Golden Knight, and
it was just really fucking cool.
I know, and I love that. I know Evan does not like Clayman's style at all, but I like this. I thought it was really, really neat.
It was, I will say, like for that speech and like it built to the, I don't know, I really liked it. And what's Batsy's got that line in it where he's like, "I don't do PR." Or
yeah,
like
I'm not a press guy.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't like Batgirl though. In Clay, or
the way he's drawn her.
Well, in Tom King, I just don't think writes a good Batgirl myself. But
well, I don't really like Barbara Gordon, so it doesn't.
I was gonna say,
that's
true.
Either way.
But anyway, yeah, Heroes in Crisis. It's cool. I like it.
It's gonna get good. Now let's jump to Action 1007.
There's nothing that happened.
Lois Lane told her father that Superman is Clark Kent.
No, she didn't. As far as I know, I don't know how they're going to go with this, but she said that Superman is the father of John. So maybe he's thinking that like Lois cheated on Clark or something. Which Sam Kent, he's not dumb, so he probably knows. But at the same time, I don't really see anything.
But why did she decide to do that?
I don't know. It kind of just came out of the blue too.
That's what I was like reading, and I was like, I went back and read it like 7 times. Like, what?
Because everything was good, right? As far as I knew,
she'd gotten back home. She's been here for a few issues now.
Like Sam and Clark were cool. Like they were cool with each other. Well, actually, no. Didn't he know?
I don't think he knew.
Okay, because I thought that was like one of the things. Like he knew who Superman was. Like with the whole like. Whatever it is, whenever they were kidnapped in like Kaznia or one of those fake Middle Eastern countries.
If he really thinks that Lois is having an affair with Superman, I'm gonna just
take that, Bendis.
I just don't think that will. Also, did you feel like it ended really short? Like,
yeah,
and Amanda Waller's like falling, and then like end of issue.
Well, that makes me think that like somebody's trying to play a prank on him. Apparently, this is like bringing this new
Leviathan?
this new thing called Leviathan. What is Leviathan? Bitch, we know who Leviathan is.
But like, I didn't really feel like I got a lot of closure.
It's fucking Talia al Ghul.
I didn't.
Hopefully, he fights the Silencer. I would like that. That would be cool.
Also, we talked last year about, last episode about the new Age of Heroes.
Yeah.
I was looking over some of this stuff. For what they tried, a lot of them are still going. I was going to ask you, did you read Terrifics this week?
I did.
I stopped
and it's
after
cool.
the second arc, so the last 3 issues I haven't read.
It wasn't too exciting. The things to take away from this is that whatever Simon Stagg's caveman guy is, he formed his own evil Terrifics.
Yeah, I saw that on the cover. It looked...
Which is cool. That's fine. The other thing is that Plastic Man and his son steal the Batmobile. And they take it for a joyride. That's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the important thing to take away from this.
Are you still reading the book Plastic Man?
To a lesser extent, Rex Mason becomes Metamorpho again. Sorry, they use his little like orb of Ra or whatever he has to like turn.
Good, I liked him as Metamorpho. I like that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you reading Plastic Man still?
Plastic Man has ended. Plastic Man is over
already.
Yeah, it was only like 6. It was a miniseries.
Good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't thrilled with it either. That's so Wang. That's the only thing I took away from that. That is so Wang.
Let's see. You want to move on to Marvel? I've got only about a few things to say. Or did you read anything else?
I'm going to talk about Justice League a little bit. Just kind of fill you in what's going on.
Because all I heard was disappointment.
Bullet points. They're going back.
Was it a tie into the story that you told me about last week?
Yeah, it's kind of a conclusion to this, and now they're going to the next arc.
Was it a different author? Or
No. It was Snyder and Tynion.
See,
so it was both of them.
I gotta be honest. When I like an annual, I like when it's by a different author, maybe different artists, and it's like kind of an off story.
Yeah.
I don't like when the annuals actually tie into the book, personally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean, but this is kind of like, shit, we don't have enough to do this, so let's just finish the story here. Basically what happened is they go to the source wall to fix it, because Starman said, okay, Kendra Sanders, you're going to go fix the source wall, because I guess your wings have magic in them. So anyway, what they do is they collect the Titans from No Justice. You remember the Omega Titans? They killed one. I can't remember the 3 that they had, but anyway, they're going to use them to like fucking patch the source wall, basically. But while they're doing that, all this stuff comes. Who is coming here? Brainiac. He's back. He's not so dead. Okay. It seems the Legion of Doom has constituted him, so he and Sinestro and Lex Luthor are heading out in one of their little Brainiac ships, and they basically just kind of get in the way of what they're doing and everything. It turns out they use Starman to release Perpetua. So Perpetua's back. Basically, the source wall exploded. But the Legion of Doom, they basically have control of Perpetua now, which I'm not a huge fan of this. Oh, and Martian Manhunter and Kendra Sanders, they're a thing now. They're a couple.
Oh, and
they kissed. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know anything else about Doorknobs. It wasn't really doing anything too much for me, because I think I like Snyder, I trust him, but it's getting a little out there as far as like his material is out there.
Yeah, I did my pre-order on that volume. I think it's volume 3, because volume 2 is the Legion stuff, and volume 3 is one you were telling me about with Starman. So I'll see. I don't know. This got the annual in it already, solicited that way. I just, you know what was a really good Justice League run?
What?
Jim Lee and Jeff Johns,
when
Justice League 52. Like, when you
that
think
was
back
pretty
at that, like,
good, wasn't it?
You're like, what a good thing. And then how do they end it? Darkseid Wars.
That's right. They went out with a bang,
like,
literally.
That's good shit. I don't know. I just was expecting so much more from No Justice.
Well, Snyder, he's always been like just a a meta concept kind of guy, where he wants to be like, oh, this is beyond the scope of everything. But I like it when Jim Lee and Jeff Johns were doing it, like you said, where like everything is cool, because like it's enough to make sense, but like then there's the other kind of levels to it. And Snyder did wonderful on Batman. Batman Metal was perfect. It was right up his alley. That was just enough, just the right amount of meta.
You saying it out loud with your mouth like that, I realized what's really good about that for the Jeff Johns arc is that they were constantly working as a team and together doing team stuff. And I've noticed with this Tinian arc,
seems like he's just doing what Scott says, kind of too.
Well, he seems like the team has been broken up like 3 different times now. It's not like an actual like functioning. It's more like the animated series.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Where they're like self-contained stories almost?
Yeah, where like 4
arcs?
people would do something and then 2 others would do something else.
Yeah,
like, it feels like
it's like delegation.
Yeah, versus like when you actually just see like 7 members like having to work together.
Yeah.
Something maybe to be said about that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Metal works so well, because you had Snyder planning everything, and then the little offshoots were the other guys, just doing the little supplemental material, which is great.
DC Metal.
But yeah, no, it was good, and I hope that the new Crisis is going to be great. I'm a little worried about you, Perpetua. But
is there any solicitations for that Crisis you've been talking
no,
about?
But if they've released the person who created the universe before, and they're like an evil force, there's going to be a Crisis. The thing that just irritates me is that like all these people have known about it, but they haven't said anything. But which is the nature of comics, because they didn't think of it. But still, it's kind of like, why don't you say something before? Yeah, exactly. It's like, you probably should have told us about Perpetua.
But all right, let's jump to Marvel. So the only thing, did you only read the
I looked through all the Marvel ones, and Marvel wasn't really tickling my fancy this week.
So the solicitation, I saw this on my another pre-order. So all the books you and I have been talking about since the beginning of this volume 2 are going to be released in a nice little trade. And
it's continuing the thing like the Journey to Suspense, Tales of the Unknown,
the War one, and all that.
Yeah,
so they'll all be in the same book, which is
what.
When that's a final collection, that's going to be a fun collection.
Yeah, it'll be
us picking them up weekly to do like these reviews. It doesn't really work very well.
And I'm not a big fan of it myself. I didn't really like Journey into Unknown, but I
You get it.
I get the vibe. It's like a sci-fi old 50s pulp kind of magazine
with
thing.
better art.
With better art, yeah, and a little bit better degrees of storytelling. But yeah, it was a cool. It was interesting.
Two little shorts. It was fun.
There's a evil parasite person that made people's bones grow big, and then they died. And then there's a boy who turned into a Mothman. Yeah, and then killed people. So
it was just fun.
Nothing to it, nothing to really go back on, but just a fun little thing.
Only other book I really jumped into from Marvel that I really enjoyed this week. It's funny. Before I talk about my last book, I want to say Ed Brisson. He was known in the indie community. He did Murder Book. He's a great crime writer.
Is he the one that's doing Logan? Dead Man Logan?
He's doing Dead Man Logan.
Okay.
Uncanny, X4. He is Extermination. He's the one that is controlling the mutants now.
Yeah.
But he started this new X-Force book, and I was really hoping for something good.
It seemed like a good team up of people.
It was a classic lineup. Shatterstar's there.
Yeah, it was X-Force, but with Cable. Yeah.
But it's not what I wanted. And not saying it needs to be geared towards me. I'm saying that it just wasn't. I love this guy's writing. I loved what he did in Bullseye and Iron Fist. Mm-hmm. But this book is just not clicking with me. Maybe I'm just kind of dumb. Like, I need a break on mutants.
Well, I'm not a good judge of character because I've never really been a big X-Men fan myself. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It seems interesting. Like there's a really good group in there, but they're just not clicking. Like the way that other places are.
Yeah. We'll see. When it comes out in its finality.
I'm surprised you didn't read Marvel Knights. Because that has
no.
Because that's Donnie.
Excuse me. I should say Marvel Knights 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
That is a trade book for me.
Because Donnie's writing it. So
are you caught up on it?
I read the last part. Yeah. Today.
Okay. So the story is quite interesting because this is issue 6, I believe.
Yeah. This is the last one. 6 of 6. It's a miniseries.
Oh fuck! And then never mind. I will just go and just no. I've read up to issue 5, and then I was like, I'm gonna break so I don't read. I'll just go read the last issue. Then
there's only 6.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So don't ruin it. I'll check it out. But it's been a fun book. I liked Marvel Knights when it first came out. So. But
and you're a big fan of Marvel Knights anyway, so
yeah, the characters are cool, and I like to see the art style, and this kind of matches that original 20 years ago.
Amazing Spider-Man, Rhino and Spider-Man team up. They literally say team up in it. Like,
wait, hold on, wasn't it that Miles Morales issue that they teamed up too?
I think so.
It's just Miles and Peter. Like,
Rhino wants to
give Rhino a break.
Rhino wants to be a good guy. I just want to see Spider-Man ride Rhino into battle like a war mount. I think that would be awesome.
Pretty awesome.
That would be really cool.
That's what we need. We need in Marvel a big metal thing, like when the Batman rode a Joker dragon.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that was cool. Just after he punched it and broke its nose.
So, but Punisher 7, there's a few things I wanted to talk about in this book. So I'm really liking Matthew Rosenberg's Punisher, and I've never really been into Punisher. I read Fraction's run, and then when Remender did Frankencastle.
The only thing I really that stood out to me for Punisher was when he had the War Machine suit. That's about it.
So that arc is sadly over. But so he's in jail. But there's a few parts I really liked in this. It shows him getting incarcerated in jail and how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line where these two guys are talking in a car, and then like a figure comes up, and they're like, "Listen, man, stop begging for change." And then it's Frank, and he's like, "I'm not begging," and then destroy them. So good Frank line. And then there's a part where
he's probably the king of one-liners. Him or the Thing. They've got the best ones.
There's a part where he's doing sit-ups, and you see him say 498. 499, and just the fact that the Punisher is doing like almost 500 sit-ups is great. And then he sees someone's being disturbed. It's a hydrate person in jail fucking with someone, and the guy's like, "Well, I dare you to try to touch me." And then the Punisher takes a stick and sticks it down his throat and bites his ear off.
I know, and Punisher reminds me of that one neighbor you have that was in the military his whole life and just doesn't take any shit. Like he wears the short shorts and the long socks. But just like he's just serious about everything.
I think of Bruce Stern from The Burbs.
Actually, yeah, that's
like
that's
older
really
man
good.
that still does the flag raising every day.
Exactly, yeah, that's a really good characterization. You hit the hammer on the head there, but, like almost like Michael Douglas from Falling Down, like that kind of like just angry guy.
What a great movie! They should make Boom should make, or Dynamite should make a book of Falling Down. I'd read
Actually, that would be pretty cool. I mean, they're doing everything else.
There's a new book, Shape of Elvira, that came out this week.
Yeah,
really classy
I didn't know
stuff.
I didn't know that they did what?
Real classy.
I imagine so. I'm sure Cassandra Peterson's just so happy.
What'd she get? 10-6
she did
every issue?
did her she leased her likeness to them.
But no, I would say this week there's a lot that DC they're fucking dropping bombs, while Marvel I feel like is setting traps.
DC definitely won this week.
Yeah. Oh, not even a question.
Yeah, there's I mean in
was there any
quantity too, because there was a ton of DC stuff this week. I was surprised.
Which is funny. Marvel released like 20 trades this week, so it's almost like Marvel's like taking a break this week of like single issues.
Just take a breather, let you have Valentine's Day off, and then we're back. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Another book that came out, I was gonna ask that the solicitation is, I think, actually a month from now, but Guardians of the Galaxy. Are you reading this book?
A little bit. I was gonna say it's not doing anything for me. It's a cool premise, and I like that Angela's doing something, because they spent a lot of money to get Angela.
I do not want to leave this character behind. Yeah, like this is someone we need to keep in the verse.
I was gonna say, I'm just waiting for her to hang out with Spider-Man, so it's like my Todd McFarlane collection's complete.
That would be. Okay, what would you think if Dan Slott has moved on to Fantastic Four? Who's doing Spider-Man right now?
I want to say Nick Spencer. I think he is.
You're correct. It is Nick. Mm-hmm. What if we went back to like story-wise and art-wise more like that Todd McFarlane like early 90s, like. Because Spider-Man hasn't been like that in a long time. Like, the Spider-Man we have now is like...
Well, keep in mind, whenever that was going on, Ben Reilly was pretty much Spider-Man. There was like the clone stuff that was happening.
Okay. It's also... Is Scarlet Spider still a book?
No, I don't believe it is.
That still went like 20 issues.
Because remember, Ben Reilly became the Jackal, like a bad guy.
How the fuck did that still get 20 issues?
I don't know. I didn't write it.
I was rereading Damnation.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Doctor Strange
thing? Oh, yeah, I remember
Donny Cates
that.
did? But the fact that... Because Scarlet Spider had...
I wasn't a fan. Like, I didn't like it.
I like it better now. At the time, I just thought it was distracting, but now that I've got a full tome, and I can like look over it as
and to worship Donny Cates now.
Yeah.
So
you can see all the nuance.
Yeah.
But there's an issue of just Johnny Blaze ruling hell.
That'd be great. Yeah, I remember that.
So a lot of fun, but...
Mephisto had a casino in Las Vegas, yeah.
Classic stuff. And also, it was not Secret fucking Empire. I was so tired of Secret Empire at that time to see this little breakaway.
that's right. Yeah. They were shoving that down our throats.
So this is what I was you and I were kind of talking the other week about Venomverse and stuff like that. It's so funny when you look back, Civil War was going on and it was like Civil War, but what people didn't realize is Annihilation was happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're gonna look back and be like,
was
fucking
pretty,
Secret Empire, but then you're gonna look back and be like, oh, Damnation was happening. Like it's like these sub books that are actually the good ones.
Exactly, and that's kind of the thing I think that's gonna happen with what is it called, Infinity Wars, because I kind of like the amalgam ones. I think that was cool.
I just finished this morning. I read Infinity Warps. I read all those.
It seemed like Gamora just became a bad guy for no reason, but. The thing to take away from that is that it formed the new Guardians of the Galaxy, like that new one, because Thanos dying wouldn't have happened, or this wouldn't have happened if Thanos didn't die.
Thanos died in the first issue of Infinity Wars, and there's 27 issues after it. It's like we could have accomplished it.
Yeah. But also keep in mind that that wouldn't have happened too if Thanos Wins wasn't around.
Oh yeah,
which was
Kate's
cool.
planted seeds of that.
Yeah, which I love that. Oh, I love that because it's very Thanos-y, where he's like, I knew I was gonna die, but I still have one trick left to play, and then there he goes.
Just a good book.
Yeah, I know. It's pick it up. Donny Cates,
Thanos once was a good book.
He's a good writer.
You just reminded me of something
Come
else.
over to DC, please.
Well, someone actually funny. Someone had asked him that. And he's like, I'm not going in. He's a Marvel guy, like at Soul, and he's like,
I understand.
So it'll take the Bendis treatment where he stays there for 30 years, and then he's like, might as well work on Batman now.
Do a bad event, and then you jump ship. Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, we've had a lot of fun this week, and next week, we always get to this point every time, and I always never read the solicitations to know what to promote the next week. But if it's as exciting this week was media-wise.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot of media stuff. I'm sure we'll get more things going on.
This is one thing I did want to mention. I wrote down
a lot of cons
notes.
coming around, so we'll get more info.
Yeah. I want to next week talk about. I got a book through my pre-orders. The Mike Del Mundo and Jason Aaron's Thor game. That's the one that he started a few months ago. So it's the first 6 issues.
The Thor being worthy again.
Yes.
Post Jane Foster.
I'll give a little bit
spoilers
of because I after the first issue I stopped it and I wanted to read it as trade. So I'll give a minor review, just talk about that, and it's now in digital if you want to check it out there too. But I just want to maybe start talking about a lot of books, and then the week after that, my Black Panther Volume 6 comes out, which is Tynish had sent him into space. I don't know if you'd been reading any of that.
The Galactic Wakandan Empire.
So yeah, I think every week we'll probably start talking about the new trades coming out, and like instead of a single issue, let's talk about overarching stories.